Okay, is anybody here? Hey, I know. You know what? Top Hats. Everybody was saying, ask Top Hats. I said he's probably over in the other one because he behaves and I don't. Everybody's got to come on over. Come on over. Come on over to Peter Piper Pizza. Or what? I can't remember what that commercial was. But I really am going to use the restroom really quick because I should have done that. Okay, I'll be right back. Right back.
Okay, so I can see Jack just went back online again. Rats, I forgot my glasses. I didn't see how many people. Looks like we have 7. So about less than half of the folks that were watching the cooking live made it back over. I apologize for those of you in the chat. Without my glasses, it's very difficult to read the chat. But I'm sure we'll catch up eventually. And get this thing going. I guess there was some testimony today from the Vallow Daybell trial that was pretty important. I didn't personally see it myself because I've been really watching the trial, but I guess Snot Rockin's been paying close attention. She's going to provide some commentary on it fairly soon. That's right, Sammy. Y'all got to hit the like button. Please do that. And, you know, if you haven't already subscribed, we're at 1,030. Wouldn't hurt to be at 1,040. I wouldn't bother anybody. I wouldn't bother anybody one little bit. And so the more people we get following the channel, the better that YouTube supports the channel. Right? So it's just that simple. Anyway, I'll give you back to the Snot Rocket. Ready to come back in bed?
Yeah, just
It's a list.
I'll get it for you.
Oh, it's back there.
Oh, look, there's one right here. Yeah, I'm gonna get my hands all messy. I hope everybody can see me.
Hey, you're back, Maze. Oh.
Yes. About once a month.
Sorry, I had to go to the restroom really bad. You made it. Oh my God, Frazzled, I'm still like, can't even believe that some guy is trying to send you some skin. What the hell? Does he not even know? I'm really glad that your son went over there, but he needs to know you got a whole family over here who will mess that dude up. I'm not trying to have anybody doing that to you. I mean, if you want it, I guess, but you know what? I don't know. Branded. Yeah, right. Yeah, Top Hats. Faith bought memberships, and Mitten Mama was trying. She can't get one because it says she's branded. That's so weird. Yeah, it actually does. It kind of. Yeah. I was kidding, kind of. I mean, you know, I'm not trying to tell you what to want, but it's just so. To me, it blows my mind that somebody just thinks it's okay to do that.
Not okay.
And if I didn't ask for, you know, I've always said forever, if I see a penis I didn't ask to see, let me tell you, some shit is going to go down because I am not. Whoever thinks that people just want to see their junk, they're fucking full of shit. I don't want to see gross fucking shit like that. And if I didn't ask for it, the way I hear about things, like you just, you know, I've heard people saying like, oh, you just open up your phone and there's a dick pic. Well, that better not happen to me. It better damn well not. Oh my God. Frazzled, stop it. Oh my God. It is insulting, Gobby. It is. It is. You think you're all that and you want to just send me some fucking gross shit? Don't do it. Don't even.
It's not looks as if it didn't work anything.
Oh my God. Frazzled said she had to change churches.
Oh my God, is it from her church?
She said you should see the old dogs at her church. She had to change churches. Oh my God, that is so foul. Stop it. That's a thing. You know, I really think that men think that people really want to see that. And
That's because that's how men think. That's how they
right, because that's the shit they want to see. Well, I don't. If you want to just put the kibosh on this shit right here and right now, there you go. You went ahead and did that.
How can anybody think that was not?
Oh my God. I bet, legs. Oh. Okay, so she can only be party to any kind of channel that is just like hers. But I was cooking tonight. What the hell?
Who's that? Who's gonna be a part?
Not down with the wee wee. Where did I see that today? On Becca's thing, right? Somebody said something about a pee-pee, and I was like, oh my God, I can't even right now. No, that's probably right. Oh, no. Yeah, well, she doesn't need to. Well, that's what she said, right? She said if she did that, she would lose all of her subscribers. Yeah, don't do anything, Mitten Mama. Don't do anything. Right. Yeah, they're trying to get you to take care of all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, they're cooking, cleaning, and their junk. They didn't send you a picture of dirty laundry. They sent you a picture of fucking no shirt.
Dirty armpits.
They fight like teens over them old farts. Yeah, why would not? Believe me, I'm good.
Dinner's delicious, you guys.
Yep, this one ate some dinner. She said it's good.
I'm still eating it.
That's hilarious.
Freaking amazeballs.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Legs are killing me here. I got dubs. What do you mean? Yeah, me too, Sammy. I absolutely don't even. It's absolutely insulting. It's exactly what it is. Like Gabi said, absolutely insulting. It made my fucking stomach sick. Oh, frazzled, you sweetheart. You're so sweet.
You ever know what happened to Kira?
I don't.
She might have been, I don't know. In another life.
That's been a long time. I can't believe you remember that.
In the beginning.
Wow. See, that it sounds so crazy to me. I can't even imagine. That's why I say, you guys, I'm not going to live a healthy life because I'm not going to be old enough to be in a nursing home and getting a fucking STD. Seriously? That's not going to happen.
I saw that on a show the other day.
On a shirt.
On a show. New Amsterdam. Y'all came in and had gonorrhea people from the nursing home.
Yeah, that's gross. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Yeah, you don't need to be harassed by stuff. Poor things. I'm sorry. But you do. You have great memories. And Frazzled said he's not even pretty. My husband was good looking man.
Aww.
I know.
I wonder if it ever works. That's what I gotta wonder. Does anybody ever bite? You might want to change your come online.
I think my sister wants you guys to start forwarding her these photos. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's what she said, Top Hats, that she would lose all of her subscribers. Yeah. That's just weird. Like, how do you do that without even knowing, right? I know, Frazzle. Hey, Chelsea. Yeah, hopefully she comes back in here. This was on the other live that we talked about this. I did tell her though, because she said she tried to change it and it said she would delete all of her subs. No. I don't even see Faith over here. Yeah, I feel like we did. Hey, Justice Jane. Yeah, where's Faith? What happened? What happened? See, I knew this was going to happen. Everybody wasn't going to come over. I was nervous about this. Yeah. A man is on the KTLA tower in Hollywood. What? Okay, let me get my. I left my mouse in the. Oh yeah, am I froze? Pre Billie Eilish. Okay, I gotta get my mouse. Yeah, I think we have to. There's Faith. Oh, I don't know who that is, but I'm gonna look. Faith is back. Okay, now I can't remember what you said was happening. Okay. Okay. Wow. Yeah, he's got a guitar. Yeah, I don't know who this person is, but
scaled his way about a quarter of the way up the tower on top of the marquee there. He's pulled out an electric guitar. He's been playing here for the last couple of minutes, holding up a sign and shutting down traffic here on Sunset Boulevard. If you're making your way through the area, Sunset Boulevard shut down between Van Ness and Bronson Avenue. Reporting live from Air 7 HD, I'm Chris Christie, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
wow. Right. Oh, good job, Top Hats. Right? I don't even know who these people are. Yeah. Right, Faith. That's there's always someone up there. Oh my God. Seriously? Shit. How am I doing this wrong? One was dancing no shirt at all. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna play this Jailhouse phone call from with Summer and Lori. It is very emotional. It is.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can I go this rose real quick? 81, 82, 81 or 82.
I think 82.
Is that this? asked Freddie, he said, 70 something. I go, more like 80, 81. That's good.
Okay, I'm getting ready to play a video, guys.
Good.
Hi. How are you? Not good. How are you? Not good. I don't know what to say. Do you not want to talk? I'm willing to listen if you want to talk to me. I just don't know what to say. I don't know what anybody knows. I've been in isolation for 2 weeks, so I don't know anything that's going on. I haven't talked to anyone. Well, they know that they found Tylee buried in a pet cemetery and JJ buried on Chad's backyard. And we don't understand how that happened or why. Can you tell us? They were devastated. Did you know they were there? Can't talk about it. I don't know what to say, Lori. I mean, you know how much I love you and Alex. It's sick to my stomach. I didn't think anything would, you would ever let anything happen to the kids and just let them be thrown away like garbage. I can't take it that you would let this. It's too painful. And you think I let that happen? Yes, I do. That's nice. Is there another explanation? I'm willing to hear it. I don't want to think it. Absolutely, but I can't talk about it. You went off to Hawaii and were dancing on the beach while your kids are in the ground? You had to have known when they were there. I just can't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I want to believe the best in you. I really do. I love you with all my heart. It kills me. But they were just little kids. I don't understand. I understand. You know me, Summer. That's what I thought. You still do. Lori, if you let that happen to them and didn't tell us and left me in the ground like a piece of trash, then I don't know you because you would have never done anything like that. That's correct. And if you knew and didn't tell us, that's not okay. We love them. We would have taken them. We would have taken care of them. You could have gone off and done anything you wanted. That's what you think? I don't know what to think. None of us do. You haven't told us anything. We believed you. We stood up for you. I cannot. I would love to. You cut me and Mom off for 4 months and told everyone not to trust us because we'd tell Adam. And now we find this out and you expect me to just keep going on faith when there's been zero explanation and you expect me to just keep believing without ever having a question? Say that. That is what you're saying. Either explain it or don't expect me to not be upset and doubt you when the kids are on Chad's property. I'm not okay. I love them with all my heart. I would have taken Tylee and JJ in a heartbeat, and everybody else would have too. You know that.
See, that's the thing. It wasn't just that she didn't want to take care of those kids.
Yeah, that's not it.
She wanted their monthly check. That even makes it more despicable to me. I mean, I don't really, I honestly, can it be more despicable? I don't think it can be. It is heartbreaking. It is. Ooh.
Chad's the one that wanted him dead. Love me. Put me in a room with her.
And you know, honestly, what's really sad is what I was thinking today after I first heard that, and I just was so disturbed. I don't, because it's the money. It was the money that she couldn't just give JJ. She could have given JJ to Kate and Larry out 100%. She knew that. The fact is, it's the money. But this is the deal. She was so pissed off that Charles had changed his life insurance because she thought she was going to get that $1 million. That sadly, I think she had to change plans when she didn't get that $1 million. I mean, might that have saved their lives? I don't know. And again, I'm not trying to put blame on anybody. The blame goes on those two.
Sure.
And Alex Cox, period. Honestly, I believe that Alex Cox was a slow adult. I don't think he really even knew what the hell he was doing, but he knew for sure. Oh, absolutely. I absolutely, Lakes. No, I get it. I can hear it right here. What if I had to tell this to my sister? She had to tell it to me. I mean, the person who probably, you know, our parents are dead. And I have a lot of family that loves my kids, but you know what? I'm telling you, my sister loves my kids real close the same way she loves her own. And so do I with hers. Oh, I get it. I get what she's saying because I would not know what. How do you even know how to fucking get your head around it?
And just assume that you're just going to keep saying nobody knows. Nobody
knows what I've been through. No, what we saw is you and Mr. fucking pussy fucking skin with the Doughboy, Mr. Doughboy over in fucking Hawaii with the ukulele.
God.
That makes me more sick than I can even talk about. Give me a break. Seriously, you fucking buried my kids in your yard, you sick fuck. God. Oh. It's heartbreaking. It is. It's just so sick.
You play that at court today, huh?
Mm-hmm. But that's why she didn't give them to anybody, because she wanted that Social Security money. Can you fucking even, God, seriously?
But she's gonna get it when they're dead, so I don't understand why she would kill them.
Well, because no one was gonna know they were dead.
Oh yeah, they just wandered off.
I don't know how many of you were here the other day whenever we played that that video of Lori, Melanie Phibb, but she's a lying sack of shit. She didn't give a shit about anybody.
She's just as bad.
She is. Oh boy, I want the two Melanies to be charged. I cannot tell you. You're right, Faith. It is.
The niece Melanie too.
Yeah. It's a root of all evil. It makes me sick. That's what I said the other day when you guys were saying to me, well, you know, Amber's husband makes 6 figures and this and that. Well, guess you. Okay, but that's nice. But let me tell you, when I lived in a fucking trailer, when I fucking didn't have AC, when I didn't know if I had anywhere to live tomorrow, I still behaved a certain way. It's not about money. You behave a certain way, period.
Especially with your fucking kids. Jesus.
So I said when Michelle's like, and he, her son cost her $300 and this and that. Well, guess what? You want to pay for a funeral? Does that make you feel better, you stupid fucking bitch? I would love for my son to call me collect or any other way possible. These people are fucking sick people. And I'm not down with it one bit. No, do you know these two, they had 18 burner phones. Probably fucking
That's criminal, right?
drug cartel that don't have 18 burner phones. But this is how stupid they were. They still did all of their same business on these phones. The very fact that you go and get those kind of phones, yeah, and then her attorney was like, well, of course, there again, he really has no way of defending. What's he going to fucking say? Act like he's all down with this shit. I don't fucking know. But he's like, well, people aren't always up to something. Maybe they have, this or that. And the reason they have this. 18 of them, first of all. Secondly, no. Give me 6 figures. I'll let you know how happy it can make me.
Me too.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but let's be real here. If you have money, that's okay for you to act like an asshole. I'm sorry.
It's their upbringing. Like you said,
That's exactly right, Faith. That's exactly right. You know what? I'm not gonna. I don't fall for shit like that. I don't roll that way one bit. No. Oh, you can have this. You can go to the beach and have your new fucking pussy ass motherfucking husband sing to you with the ukulele.
That just made sure your kids got killed.
But you just had to get rid of your kids.
He's the one.
What the fuck is this about? I don't get it. I don't. No, it doesn't. You're absolutely right. It doesn't. It doesn't buy any of that. And you know what? You can. I don't give a shit if I'm living in a fucking box behind Kmart. You are who you are. Period. Legs. That's exactly what my sister just said.
What?
She said it all started with her dad.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you're right. The root of the evil tree, she said.
That's it. That's it.
No, it's true. I think it's true.
He's a fucking verb.
Nope. If you have your children, you're blessed, okay? But to think that you were the one that did it. And here, just like she was talking to Colby and to her sister, like, you never even hear her crying about it.
No.
She was laughing on the phone to Colby when he's like, you took my whole life, Mom. I have no one. Like, it's sick. Okay, I'll finish playing it and shut my fat mouth. Hold on.
If they were in any danger. No idea what happened. You're right. Nobody does because you said nothing. Because everybody sees what's on TV. That has nothing to do with TV. This is when you're in my conversations. Before you left and cut me off. And now you expect me to be there for you and you were going to abandon me? And if you weren't in jail, you wouldn't even be talking to me and we wouldn't even know they were dead still. This is your opinion. Yes! I deserve more than that. I've been there for you like a rock, and I went on TV and defended you. I've done everything to defend you, and I still would right now if you would tell me the truth. I would love to. Well then, love to. You didn't want to in October, November, December, January, or February when you weren't in jail. Why didn't you tell us then? What? You didn't call me when Alex died, which now I'm glad he's gone, if he was a part of this, but you didn't call to tell me Alex died or that your kids are gone? Nothing? You don't think that's going to cause pain throughout our entire family? That's never my intent. Well, you don't think I'm in pain? No, I don't. I think you were dancing on the beach having a great time. Getting married. And you took pictures to prove your kids don't deserve a burial, but you need to get wedding pictures? You don't think that's upsetting? Nobody knows. I'm sorry, honey. Then nobody knows except for you and the Lord. Yeah, ask him. I have. And guess what? I don't have one scripture that says it's okay for children to be thrown away like garbage in the ground. And that's okay. There is nothing in the scriptures that is godly about hurting a child. Nothing. And they deserve a proper burial with family that loves them at the least. I can't support that. That's hurtful to everyone. That's the most selfish, incredibly selfish thing I can think of. I can't think of anything worse. I don't understand. I don't understand. This is not my Lolo that I've known and loved. I've never even seen you be upset with your kids. I went to bat for you and said that to everyone. I never have been upset with them. I never have been. How can you just go on without them, without any upsetness, and without telling us anything, and then expect us to understand? No, knows in the world. Nobody in the world knows what I've been through. And I don't expect you to. All you've seen is what's on TV. No, that's not what he says. And all the influences of all the people around. Okay, so now I'm deceived. No, everyone in the world is deceived except for you. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that. I'm saying nobody's seen me on the floor crying. Nobody knows what I've been through with my children that I love more than anything. Lori. Fine. You were dancing on a beach with a smile on your face, taking wedding photos. Yeah, months later. You don't trying to go on with life, trying to be happy, trying to find some kind of happiness. You think I want to be alone? Do you think that your mother and your sister and your son don't deserve to know that the children are gone?
She needs to try. She has to get over it. It's been months, right? It's been months. Can you imagine? Yeah, do you know I've been on the ground crying? Shut the fuck up, you stupid whore. You stupid fucking whore. She's so stupid. And really? And how long does it take to get over your child? It's been months. I'm just trying to get by in life and be happy. Like anyone gives two fucking
Like,
shits
how
if
could
you're
you ever
happy
be
or
happy
not.
if your kids are dead?
Right, and you did it. No, how is it? Don't even say that you're trying to be happy. Do you know what? You're going to spend the rest of your life in fucking prison, you stupid bitch. Oh my God. I can't. The way she even says this, like, you know, it's been months. So when is the date? What, how long does it take that, you know, I need to, you know, just run off to Hawaii and be on the fucking beach when my husband that we killed bought our fucking outfits and our rings and probably the fucking ukulele. Stupid. Oh my God, they infuriate me. No, she doesn't deserve to be happy ever again. She doesn't. I'm sorry. I was trying to. She was back and forth to Hawaii like 3 times that year. She's just trying to be
Do you
happy.
need some money for it?
No, I already bought it.
Why wouldn't you call and tell us that? Why were we cut off? You saying you want to go on and be happy? You're just going to be happy without your family and your life until you're stuck in jail and I'm the only one stupid enough to be your friend when I've been your best supporter, Lori. I've loved you my whole life. I still do. I can't bear to think anything bad about you. It hurts me. I don't want to see you in jail. I don't want you to be there. I don't want people to misunderstand. If you would tell me the truth, I would stand up for you for the rest of the time. You know that I would. I know you would. But there is nothing okay about this. Nothing. I know. If you think it's okay, well, you have greatly been deceived if you think this is okay. Nothing about this is okay, Lori, Summer. We've all read the scriptures. I know you've told me about a lot of your spiritual experiences. You know I'm trying to support you in all of them. But I am telling you, because I love you with all my heart, please consider that Chad has lied and been deceived, and that you have been deceived, and that this is not what you think it is. There's nothing okay about killing children. Nothing. And even if you didn't kill them, and Chad didn't kill them, and Alex didn't kill them, you threw them away like garbage in the ground. You tiny both are burned. I can't handle that. And threw her in a pet cemetery. You know that's so degrading. How can you let them do that? I don't understand. It's so painful. I can't even tell you. I don't know what else to say, but please consider that you have been deceived. That is not Christ-like. There's nothing good in that. There's nothing good in that. That's not a test for you. You were innocent. And they were loved. And they didn't deserve to be treated that way. And who loved them their whole life and took care of them their whole life? So why would you let them be buried that way? I didn't. Well, then come up with an explanation publicly.
No, they should fucking let let me loose on that bitch.
Yeah, just the very fact that she, right, every single thing she says, it just,
Her kid, obviously, it's just right after they found the kids. Look at the sisters freaking torn up, and
She don't have, her and Chad have no way of communicating. They don't let them communicate in jail. And what about they're telepathic fucking leading each other still? At some point, I would say, where she's at, I'd say, I fucked up. That dude brainwashed me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I think that's what her defense is going to be.
It's at some point you would think she would show an emotion. Well, it's not going to work if she don't fucking show any emotion. But all of a sudden she's going to have a fucking change of heart.
Oh, good night, Crafting with D.
I guarantee you Chad ain't going to fucking take her side when he gets into court.
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Ooh, I love the picture, Jerry. Yeah, thank you so much for hanging out, Crafty. Stop. I love it. Oh, good night, Top Hats. Thanks for hanging out with us. Right? She is beautiful. I'm gonna play you a video of her uncle. It's really sad.
Is it over?
Yeah, there's another one right here.
That's the uncle, right?
Yeah.
I want to hear this.
This is the uncle. It's really
Oh, it's like the brother, the dad's brother.
yeah, the dad is creepy. Yeah, I might play some of that too. Look at Jerry, she's very pretty now. Here. Right here. Let's see. She's funny as shit too. She makes me pee my pants all the time. Yeah, and this uncle looks just like out. Yeah. Okay, legs. Again, same exact words at the same time. Yep. Looks exactly like. It's crazy.
What are your thoughts today after hearing that phone call between Summer and Lori?
That was brutal. I hadn't heard that call before, and how Summer could sit up there and be as composed as she was and go through that again. That was, she's tremendous, but that was just a rough call.
What has been your experience like sitting here in the courtroom the past 2 days?
You know what's hit me more than anything? Of course, there's a lot of emotion, as there was during that call, but it's so, I guess it's a feeling of gratitude to see how many people are involved in trying to get justice for Tylee and JJ, which is what we all want, and Tammy and Charles. That's what we all want, but there's so many people, and I know a lot of people, it's their job, but excuse me, I think you and so many people involved are going above and beyond just the 9 to 5 aspect of it. It's very gratifying.
There's also people around the world that don't know your family at all.
I know, and they're involved.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming, really.
What would you say to them? Because I know they're going to be watching this.
Thank you. Just thank you for um, for caring and being a part of that effort.
What has this done to your family for the past 4 years?
There's a well, it's devastating for everyone, and there are different aspects, different viewpoints within the family. Immediately, there is a big rift in part of the family, not all of the family. Um, it's been difficult, especially for the Cox family specifically, but for all of us involved. By the Cox family, I mean Adam and Summer and the siblings, that group. It's been hard for all, but they in particular bear the brunt of it, I think. But I think outside of that, it's hard on all of us. All these people that didn't know that Tylee and JJ existed and then have gotten involved in this since then. It's hard on everyone, and so it's unifying to some extent. I feel they probably don't know it, but I'm on one of the Facebook groups that is following this, and there are things on there you'd think, well, these people are being hurtful or they're just taking advantage of being anonymous, but I'm grateful they even have a place to talk to each other and to make those statements. And to me, it's unifying. And I think when you're unified, you can forgive a few people that see things differently than you. And I think we need a lot more of that. You just hate for a tragedy like this to provide it.
And what is it like for you to hear these allegations about your niece and your nephew, Lori and Alex?
Yeah, and to believe them. I don't know how to describe that. It's beyond my experience to have the previous experience to have that. It's tough. It's tough to know and love people that could do something that evil. There's not a way to. I haven't found the way to deal with it yet. I'm here with 3 of my daughters, and this is processing for us. There's some type of healing just for having this experience, being in the courtroom for a couple days.
Anything you want to add?
Just thank you to all the people that are involved in any way, even if it's just to be part of one of the groups and interact with each other.
Rex, could you say and spell your name so I have it?
It's Rex, R-E-X, Connor, C-O-N-N-E-R. I should add, I know people, I know Alex and I look a lot alike. So there is a lot of energy around that. That's a long-running family joke. There's a line out of the 1982 movie with Tom Hanks, John Candy, Splash, where a guy's has a couple helpers with him. He said, no, it's just me here with the idiot twins. And so for years, Alex and I said, we're not twins, like they did in the movie. It's a long-running joke. I'm okay being the brunt of it now, and not a great association right now in life. But Alex and I were close until he converted over to this way of thinking, and it was a conversion. And
did he ever try to talk to you about it?
No, he didn't.
No,
but what happened, I only had 2 interactions with him after it happened, and he was already a different person, not even talking about what happened, but just the way he interacted and we interacted.
You could tell something was different. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was.
Thank you so much.
That's not what I'm seeing. Yeah, it's really sad.
I wonder how he's the
And
uncle.
freaking fabulous. I actually have, I put a pre-recorded video up, just kind of trying to lay out things. But yes, Colby really does break my heart too, for sure. He does. Can you imagine?
And then he's got people are checking, everywhere he goes, people are checking him out. You know what I mean? You have to be the son of her. God, can you imagine? And he probably does love her. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I did a PowerPoint. I just have to keep bragging about it because it's the first time I ever used PowerPoint and I taught myself. So, did you watch it?
What's it up?
This. Yeah, it's so sad. It's just heartbreaking. And the thing is, freaking fabulous. A lot of what happened with these people happened right here where we live. So Charles was killed in Chandler. We live in Chandler. And a lot of it went on in Gilbert. That's where I'm from. Can you imagine? His name is already not even his father's name. I mean, it's been, and that's what he told her. He's like, you took my whole family. Oh, you're not, Gobby, really? Oh, it's terrible. That's why last week I went to the Mormon temple in Gilbert and did a short video on it. That's where supposedly they were, Lori and Chad were sealed by them. They sealed themselves, I guess. I mean, I don't really know how it works. That's quite a building, though. It's something.
It's massive.
It's massive. And I took video of the front of it, but then as I drove around, the one of the other whole sides has a huge fountain and stuff. Like, I mean, massive.
You know, one time I was trying to just imagine looking at it, how big it is, and I was looking in one corner thinking my house would fit in that one corner.
Right. Oh, it's huge. Okay, we'll be here.
Yeah, I wonder what that Mormon people think about them, though.
You know what? And I think Charles would have forgiven her. He wanted to. If you listen to those messages he kept, like he would say, if I don't hear from you in 10, in 30 minutes, I'm going to do this. And then he just kept saying it. And then he finally said, okay, can you quit using the credit card? Because she just wouldn't even answer him. And you know what she did when he was out of town? She canceled his flight, went and took her his vehicle from the airport. I did. It is. It's a gorgeous building. It's crazy. It's huge. It is absolutely. I couldn't figure out how to show just exactly how massive it is. You guys want to see that? Do you want to see some of the interview with the cousin? Because it's really, it's. She did. She told. Oh my God. Well, look how, like I said to you guys, she did that whole year. She did tell a lot. And you know what? Do you remember when I was saying there's still some questions about the oldest sister when she died? That cousin tells you guys that the family was in Hawaii. They didn't come home when she died. This family is some fucked up shit. Right. Yep. It is some really crazy shit, you guys. And she said the dad has child porn on his computer. You are beautiful and funny and everything. Yeah, this is some really crazy shit, you guys. You guys want to hear some of that? Or do you guys want to hear? Do you want, okay, hey. Right, like I said, you got, who has dead people all around them? I know. Wait till you, okay, you guys, you do need to hear some of this because it's really a lot. It's crazy. Okay, this is hidden true crime. It's really good. I love this channel. I watch it all. Yeah, you guys, this is really crazy shit. Okay, Faith. Yeah, you should listen. You should listen to this. They are really good. I like her and her husband both a lot. Yeah. Yep, they did. Jerry, listen to this though. You're not going to believe it. It's a lot.
With Megan Connor. Megan is someone really important when it comes to the Lori Vallow Daybell case and trial happening right now in Boise, Idaho. She is the first relative that's not Lori's immediate family to come forward to share her experience growing up with Lori Vallow. Megan is Lori Vallow's cousin, and we are so glad to have you here with us. We know that this is a really big deal for you, Megan, also coming forward, that this is something you've been contemplating for a very long time. So thank you from us at Hidden True Crime for trusting us with your story. First off, Megan, why don't you share with us how you are related to?
Jerry, when now honestly I can't remember if it was Tammy or Brandon, but both of them Alex shot at and didn't manage to kill them. But Lori texted somebody and said, idiot or something, like all pissed off. I think he was a slow adult and they just took advantage of it and let him do all that stuff. And I do think they killed him too. I do. How could that not have happened? How, really? I don't know how they did it, but there's just no way. There's just no way.
To the Cox family, to Lori Vallow, and your relationship with her growing up.
So my dad is one of Janice's younger brothers. And so Lori and I are first cousins. Janice and Barry are my aunt and uncle. And we were relatively close growing up. We spent a lot of time in the summers together. And Lori is the closest in age to me of the cousin group. There were 21 of us total cousins. And So when we would spend time together, it was Lori and I that would hang out together. And then when we got a little older to be teenagers, Summer joined us as well. She's just a little bit younger than me. So it was kind of the three of us together. And we spent a lot of time together in the summers. And then I lived with Lori for a short time when I first moved to Texas. And after that, when Janice and Barry lived in San Antonio, we did a lot of family events together for many years while they were still living here.
Your cousins, you grew up together, you were close. You were close.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, you know, Janice's family is close also. Is Janice still in touch with your dad, brother? Are they still close today?
No.
No.
I think definitely some of the circumstances surrounding Lori's case and everything have definitely polarized our family into people who believe and support what Lori's doing and those who don't. I haven't spoken to most of that part of the family for quite some time. And there are some other family dynamics that are just really unhealthy and have made it really impossible for us to stay in touch.
Okay. And when you say support Lori with all she's done, nobody's supporting her due to the crimes, are they? Or do you mean more so the trial or?
Not right now, but when all of this first started happening and when Charles was killed, there was almost an immediate polarization of those who believed that it was self-defense and those who did not. And so that's kind of what I'm talking about, is that created this schism in our family. And there were very few of us who were on the side of believing that it was not self-defense. And it definitely created a rift where it was almost not there. It was unproductive to have a conversation with anybody who is on the opposite side of you.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. That makes, yeah, I can't imagine. So just the moment Charles was killed, there was a polarization, a family rift, sides being taken, in other words. This might be a loaded question right now, but why are you choosing to do this interview?
Well,
Freaking fabulous. They were talking about Lori's husband, Charles. So besides the two kids, Lori's husband was killed, and so was Chad's wife. It's a lot. And Lori's brother died also. And if you listen to this, and I spoke about this in that video I made about the sister, how weird that was. Because her oldest sister died at 31 of undetermined causes. That's what I came up with, what I found. Listen what this cousin says about that. Yeah, these are some fucked up people, I'm telling you. But that doesn't mean that Chad's not fucked up, because he absolutely is. He's a sick motherfucker.
I have stayed as much as I could away from all of the media coverage and everything. It's been pretty impossible to do that, but I've tried to keep myself isolated and have good boundaries around that, because it just hasn't been good for my mental health. It's been really taxing, and I feel like it prolongs the grieving process. And so I have tried really hard not to get embroiled in it. But every once in a while, I will get texts from family members, and I especially will get texts from friends of mine who know that I'm related to Lori, asking me if I've seen this or that interview. And a short time ago, I got a couple of texts from a family member who sent me some links to some of the interviews. And there was one in particular that really stuck out to me. It was the interview between Summer and the prosecutor.
I think maybe Alex.
Rob Wood, I think it was.
And that was a recorded conversation. Yeah, that they were talking back and forth, and it was recorded, I believe, by Summer's attorney. Yes.
Right. And in that conversation, the prosecutor was saying things like that he believed that Lori had been duped, and he really didn't believe that there was malicious intent and things like that. I don't remember exactly. I just remember thinking to myself, this is wrong. This is not right. There's no way that somebody could have manipulated Lori to that extent, because she was the manipulator. She was the one who was always in control and in charge. And
See? Doesn't surprise me to hear that.
thinking about the Cox family structure with Barry as definitely the patriarch of the family, there was always sort of this undercurrent of Lori getting what she wanted. And I think probably Barry would disagree with this, but I think that there was a lot that Lori did to control the family system as well.
Okay. Thank you. She was in charge, in other words, whether people could see it or not.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of behind the scenes manipulation, suggestion, and if everybody keeps Lori happy, then everything will go smoothly. And you know, when she's unhappy, it disrupts everything. And so it's like almost easier to placate her, do what she wants, than it is to deal with the fallout of her not getting what she wants.
So then take me back then to I don't know whether this is childhood or growing up or teenagehood. Take me back to maybe explaining a little bit about what you saw in this family system or in this family growing up, and if that includes your family or they're separate.
Yeah, so in my family of origin, my mom's side of the family is very straight-laced, very traditional Mormon, very strictly adhering to, you know, the Mormon lifestyle, the Mormon culture. And in Janice and Barry's family, we always perceived them to be like, they were like the fun family. They were the Disneyland family, you know, and they had a pool, they had money. We'd go to visit them in California, and we'd go to the beach, and we'd go to Disneyland, and, you know, things like that. So it was, as a young child growing up, it was like, that was the place we wanted to be. Those were the cousins.
Wait till you hear some of this shit, you guys. Aye.
We wanted to be with, and we wanted to hang out there as much as possible. As a teenager, it started to become pretty apparent that things were not healthy and safe in that family. And I say that now with a lot of perspective. Back then as a teenager, I thought it was normal. There was, you know, almost everything about my family growing up was not healthy emotionally, but it was all I knew. And so I didn't really know, I didn't know a lot of these things were unhealthy, but I do remember visiting the Coxes as a 13-year-old and observing for the first time what I felt to be like, this is very strange. This is not normal. But I didn't really have a frame of reference to put that in and to understand why it wasn't normal. I just knew it didn't feel right.
Do you remember what that was? Can you take us back to that experience?
Yeah, it was, you know, we, as a family, my family would go, and we lived in South Dakota at the time, and we would travel to Utah and visit my mom's family for a week. And then we'd go stay for 2 weeks in California and then go back. So during that 2-week period, we would stay, you know, with various people. And it ended up that my older brother and I stayed with the Coxes. My parents stayed with our step grandfather, who lived one street over, with our younger siblings. And so it was the two of us older kids. And I remember having meals with them, and there was a lot of arguing that would go on. Sometimes Barry and Janice would leave the table and go away argue and then come back. When they were arguing, there was a lot of volatility. I was not used to hearing that kind of yelling and screaming that went on. We were sitting eating dinner one night, and Janice had her plate of food, and she kept taking bites, and she would chew up the bite and then spit it back out on the plate. And I remember thinking that was so odd. And somebody commented on it, like, what are you doing? And I can't remember if it was my brother or one of her kids. And she said, I don't really need to swallow the food. I just need to taste it, and I just thought that was so odd. And I've thought about that so many times over the years when I think about like my own body image struggles and all that kind of stuff about, like, well, maybe I don't need to taste the food or swallow the food. Maybe I just need to taste it like Janice used to do,
Wow.
But one thing in particular that really struck me that time of visiting that time was that Lori and Summer and I were in the bathroom getting ready to go swimming. And getting ready was like a big deal around their house. They spent hours and hours getting ready. It was like the big deal, do the hair, do the makeup. And I hadn't experienced that in my family of origin. It was like, we brush our hair, we go, but for them, it's like getting ready was a really big deal. So we're getting ready to go swimming, and, we all have our swimming suits on, and, Lori's sort of like primping her hair and stuff. And she looks over at me and she goes, "Oh, you need to shave your pubes." And I was like, what? I was, 13 for the first time, not realizing that my swimsuit didn't cover everything,
Right.
And she goes, "We can help you with that. We can do that. It's fine. Just don't shave all of it or nobody will want to fuck you."
She actually said that word. She said that.
Yes. And I remember just being so incredibly shocked because, first of all, I don't think I'd ever really heard that word before,
Yeah.
And not only that, but all of the ramifications.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Wow. Absolutely unbelievable.
Sounds just
I don't even know what the fuck I would have even thought. Well, I hope nobody wants to fuck me. I'm a fucking child. So that's actually a good thing. Let's just go ahead and let this shit fucking grow all over the place. What the hell are you talking about? 14 years old. Right. Seriously. Nobody will want to fuck you.
Dad, she didn't let her kids go around
14.
Mr. Lori.
She said she was 14 years old. Can you imagine? Nobody's going to want to fuck you. Well, then good. Thank God. I hope they don't. I'm a child. Jeez. Yeah, and they talk about how religious she is. Really? I can't either. I cannot even imagine someone telling me we'll help you. No, you won't. No, you will not. My God. Unreal.
Ramifications started spinning through my brain of like, how do you know what that is? And I thought you were supposed to wait till you got married. So have you done that already? How do you know that somebody won't want to have sex with you? How do you know that that's a component? And how does the hygiene aspect of it figure in? Like, my mind was just spinning. I had no idea what to think about that or how to frame it or anything. But the two of them, Lori and Summer, were just continuing to get ready like it was no big deal. And just, I was kind of just like frozen in that moment, not knowing how to frame all of that stuff. And then we just went on and went to the pool like it was no big deal. And so those kind of comments during that visit, it was the first time that I had spent overnight with them, I think, that I can remember. And it was the first time that I'd been there with their family without my parents present. And I think that was the big changing factor.
So you were 13. How old would, let's give context, Lori be, and how old would Summer have been?
So Lori is about 18 months older than I am, and Summer is about a year younger than I am.
Okay. Yeah. Like, so about 14, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. That is startling, especially for, an LDS family, and Lori, we know, is really religious. Yeah, and you explained that a little bit in your LDS upbringing.
Not the
I
super
assume
religious
that
people I know.
yes, you said you don't have sex before you're married.
I
You're
don't
taught
even know
about the law of
non-religious
chastity.
people who act like that.
That is shocking to hear. Did they talk about religion in their family? Because Lori does seem to be fairly religious. Was this Barry seems to talk about religion a lot? Was this something that was discussed at the Cox household?
Yeah, I mean, Barry's favorite thing to do is to pontificate, or at least was. I haven't had a lot of contact with them in many years, but I can't imagine that aspect of his personality has changed much. His prayers were always very, very long and wordy. He loved to quote scripture all the time. He loved to sort of hold the family hostage with his pontificating about whatever religious topic he felt like talking about, and also news of the day or anything like that. He loved to have a commentary on that, and he wanted everybody to know what his opinion was and that it was rooted in scriptural doctrine. And he was very adamant about using scripture to talk about his opinions on everything.
Okay. So there is sort of this contradiction going on already at a young age, this sort of a household that's very sexual with children while also religious.
Yeah, and it was shocking to me, mainly from the standpoint that my parents never talked about sex, like not ever. I don't think I remember ever hearing them say the word sex until I was an adult. And it was always, I think my parents really left it up to the church leaders to make sure that we knew what we were supposed to do and not do. But in the Cox household, it was like a very frequent topic of conversation about what's appropriate and what's not appropriate from the standpoint of like what the doctrine teaches. But then it seemed.
So the Cox family had an idea about what was appropriate and not appropriate. I'm getting a very clear picture that they did not know about what was appropriate.
I think it was Cox, COCKS.
Right, and you're not supposed to. If you listen to Alex's first wife, she said that Alex and Lori's relationship was inappropriate as far as she was concerned, and she said, quite honestly, the whole family, parents, everybody.
She said mostly when they were at the parents, when they were with the parents.
It was at the parents' house where she was. She said when it was just the two of them, they got along great. But when they got around that family, shit was too weird for her.
And he said she was hot.
Yeah, Alex said that Lori was hot. Okay. Yeah, I don't need to ever hear my brother say something like that. And she would jump on him and straddle him. There you go. That's all normal. But
did you hear the 911
these
call?
are the people talking about what's appropriate.
To be very contradictory to what they actually said and did. So the kids were very open about telling me and my brother that after church on Sunday, his parents would just go take a nap, and that meant they were going to go have sex. And the kids would talk about it, about how vocal they were, or about what they thought was going on, and that was very foreign to me. It was something that I had no frame of reference for whatsoever. And they would talk about which of their friends were having sex, and what kids in the church were having sex, and all that kind of stuff. So it was really overwhelming for me to hear all of that as a 13, 14-year-old kid.
Yeah, so you were the same age. So this was staying there that year for 2 weeks with the Cox family in California. What else? Do you have any other stories from that moment or that time?
Not that particular time, but there were 2 more times that my brother and I went to visit the Coxes without our parents. And one of those times, Janice and Barry were away they were either in Hawaii or Las Vegas. I don't remember which, but Stacy was in charge. And there were a lot of kind of crazy shenanigans that happened during that visit because there were no parents.
Can you share what those crazy shenanigans are, or do you want to keep that private? Or
there was just a lot of, there was a lot of the typical stuff that we would do, like going to theme parks and going to water parks and stuff like that. I remember that Barry had given Stacy a bunch of money to pay for food and other things, and he had left strict instructions about us not driving his sports car, which of course that did not get followed. There were, some joyride situations. There was one instance in particular that was really disturbing to me where Lori was dating this guy and she wanted all of us to go out together to go mini golfing or whatever. And so she made sure that her boyfriend or the guy she was dating brought a friend along so that I would have somebody to be with. And, we did this kind of typical date thing where we went mini golfing and then we got something to eat. And then Lori wanted to go to this golf course so that she and her boyfriend could have some privacy. So it's late at night. There's no lights on. Nobody's around. She and her boyfriend went off into a corner somewhere. And I sort of had to struggle with this guy who had this expectation that, well, Lori and my friend are making out, so we should be making out too. And I was like very unhappy with that situation because I had never really had dating experience. I didn't really know how to deal with sort of a handsy person. I had no boundaries, and my family of origin growing up, it was like no was not acceptable. It was not acceptable to say no to things. And, I also had some past history of abuse. And so it was impossible for me to say no to this person. No, I don't want to do this, whatever. It was just what he wanted. And so that was really difficult for me. And then we all jumped in his Jeep to go drive Lori and me home after their makeout session was over. And we're driving down the street and he's like swerving in and out and he's being really reckless with the way he's driving. And it was one of those open Jeeps with, the doors and the roof were all off and everything. I felt very unsafe. And then we're driving down this residential street and they see a cat running across the road. And the guy who's driving the Jeep decides to hit the cat. And so he hits and kills this cat that's running across the street. And after he hits the cat, he sort of taps the brakes and slows down a little bit. And they look to make sure the cat's dead. And then he speeds off.
Wow.
And I was distraught. And I was looking over at Lori and she was just laughing and, seemed to still be having the greatest time. And for me, everything in that moment just stopped and I couldn't believe what was happening. And I wanted to go back and see if the cat is okay, or I want to see did it have a collar? Was there an owner? All of these thoughts are running through my head and they're just still laughing and hanging out the sides of the Jeep. And, we turned the corner to go home and I was sort of hyperventilating and, Lori just didn't seem to be fazed by that at all. And I don't think she had any recognition that I was having a hard time with it. I think she just went on with it like it was normal. That was just a thing that we did. And nobody ever talked about it again or brought it up or anything. But it was, these few memories that I have of us spending time together, like they were not happy memories,
Yeah. I want to go back to one story really quickly. And I don't want you to tell anything too personal, but one aspect of the story you told about, getting ready to get in the pool. It was Lori, I believe, that said, "We'll help you." Did that happen that they helped you, or were you able to just kind of ignore them and do your own thing after that? I'm sorry. That might be, if that's something you don't want to answer, you don't need to answer it.
No, that's okay. We kind of ignored it until the next time we were getting ready, and then Lori just handed me a razor and said, "You can just go in the shower."
Right. She literally wants to say, did they shave your pubes? Wow. Yeah, I don't even know about any of that.
No, the guy that she went on the double date with did.
Wow. Okay.
Shower.
Okay.
And that was it.
Okay. And I'm sorry that that happened to you
Okay.
as such a young girl.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure. So you're thinking as a young girl, as a teenager now, these things aren't normal. But and one other thing too, I want to go back to. You said your family of origin saying no wasn't an option. Well, I know that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Lori. Can you share a little bit about that? Because your dad is also Janice's sibling. Just trying to understand how you grew up too.
Yeah. Our family system was very much, you know, you do what you're told. You do not question. You're not really allowed to have an opinion, especially if it's one that's different from the parents. Any sort of raising of question or opinion was shut down as you're being argumentative, you're not being cooperative. You know, I'm not going to argue with you about this, was kind of the MO of that. We really, and when I say we, I'm talking about me and my siblings, but I should just say what I felt. But what I felt was that I was not allowed to be who I really was. I had to fit into this neat little box that my parents wanted me to fit into. There was definitely a culture of control. I think the only way that my parents knew how to parent was by controlling us. And there was a lot of shame and a lot of secrecy. And the shame aspect of it was, you don't make mistakes. We don't talk about our mistakes. We want to put on this veneer of appearing to be the perfect little Mormon family. And if somebody makes a mistake, we're going to pretend like it never happened, or we're going to pretend like it was resolved, but we're not ever going to really talk about it. And you keep the secrets of the family because it's nobody else's business, and you are loyal to the family system. And that was part of the reason why interacting with the Coxes and our other family members there was no sort of understanding about boundaries or about this is not healthy for me, or I don't want to see this family member, or any of that kind of stuff. You were family. Mm-hmm. You stuck together no matter what. And whenever there were problematic behaviors in the family system, it was like, you just accept it. There's not an option of, oh, I'm not going to hug this family member because they make me feel uncomfortable. That was not an option. It was just, you accept everything that happens in the family system. You don't question it, and you just keep interacting with the family.
Crazy stuff.
You changed your name to what? Mr. Nice Guy? Okay. Well, good to see you, rapper. Nice guy. Yes. We're listening to people who weren't that nice. Sorry. But I'm glad you're here. You're still Michael Jackson, it looks like, but am I wrong about that? It's just very little. Maybe I can't see the picture.
Family, because that's what families do.
Okay. I mean, I have to point out then, you mentioned loyalty to the family system, secrets in the family system. The Cox family is not in court as of right now watching their daughter's trial. They haven't done any interviews since their original interview when the children were missing to state that Lori would never hurt her children. Is there going to be fallout for you doing this interview? I guess that's where I'm going.
Well, I would consider myself out of the family system. I've been out of the family system for a long time. So I don't really anticipate that things are going to change that much for me. I went no contact with my parents several years ago to try and get some healing for myself. And our relationship is beginning to be repaired at this point, which is good. And I think I'm coming at it from a healthy standpoint now, where I realize what I do and do not want and need from my parents for the first time in my life, as an adult. And there was a sort of polarization that happened on both sides of my family when I drew that boundary. And it was the polarization of those who think that Megan is crazy and, is ungrateful and is a terrible daughter, and those who didn't, or who didn't have an opinion of it. So of all those 21 cousins, I think there are 2 who are out of the church, and maybe only a couple who are really out of the family system in a way that's healthy.
And when you say out of the church, you mean out of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And that was the way all of the 21 cousins were raised.
Yes.
Is that accurate? Okay. And you're one of those. You've left, right? Okay. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Unless you want to talk about it now. I mean.
No, we can cover that later.
Okay. Excuse me. So that helps me understand, like, right, the dynamic as a whole with all of the cousins, all of the siblings, was sort of this, could I say, like, enmeshed, loyal family system? Is that fair to say? Like,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
across aunts and uncles, cousins, on Janice's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
But not everyone married a Barry. How was the Cox family then? How was the Cox family then specifically unique to all of the cousins and aunts and uncles? How many siblings does Janice have then? Can I ask?
So she has 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Okay. 2 brothers, 1 sister. So 4 kids. Yeah. So when it comes to Janice and Barry's family, the Cox family, you shared a few experiences that were different. What else did you see or sort of observe, even looking back with newer eyes?
Well, I have to say, going back to the interview that Janice and Summer did, that's one of the few things that I did see. Somebody sent me this and said, have you seen this? Is this your aunt? And I have to say, watching that interview really turned my stomach. It was the first time since I've been through my healing process of realizing what's healthy and not healthy that I was sort of pushed back into that dynamic, to where I could see so many things that were just red flag behaviors. And one of the worst things, and the thing that haunts me the most about that interview, is towards the end, when the interviewer asks Janice, do you think Lori did this? This was before the kids had been found. And it was when people still largely had a lot of hope that they were alive. And the interviewer asked Janice, do you think she hurt the kids or harmed the kids? And Janice said, just very dismissively, I don't see it. Do you? And then she turned to Summer, and Summer said, no, I don't see it. And what I see in that behavior is Janice saying, this is what we believe. Turning to Summer for confirmation of, you're going to parrot what I said, and you don't get to have an opinion. And Summer parroting, I don't see it. So when I go back and when I watch that interview, the dynamic between Summer and Janice is very troubling to me. I feel very, I have so many emotions come up for me thinking about that. But the major one is thinking about where Summer is in that family system, and the fact that she probably doesn't have her own identity at all.
So even as adults, the parroting continues.
Yeah, and it's very much this dynamic of you want love and acceptance and belonging from your parents and your family, and so when you think that that's the only way to get love and belonging is from your parents, because they create that world for you and they make you feel like that's the only place you can get love and belonging. When you do something that doesn't fit with what your parents want or with what they think, it is incredibly risky. You're risking tearing apart that feeling of acceptance and love, and you're risking not getting acceptance and love from your parents, which when you're healed and you're healthy, you realize that that's an okay thing, but it's almost like there still is this parent-child dynamic where the children, even though they're adults, aren't allowed to have their own lives or their own thoughts or their own feelings or anything outside of the family system.
So to remind people, when that interview you're referring to is, again, as you said, before the children were found, people still had hope. Janice and Summer did do their one and only interview when it comes to their daughter and sister's case. When a friend sent it to you and you watched it, were the children still missing? Was it around the time they did the interview?
It was shortly after the interview aired. So the children were still missing. And that was sort of the time where I decided I needed to work through my own grief and process my own grief, because every time something came up, it was like I was starting the grieving process all over again. And so I made a conscious decision. I had been doing EMDR therapy, which I'm sure you know, but for those who don't know, it's a reprocessing kind of therapy where you try to separate negative emotions from traumatic events. And I was having a lot of success with that. And it really, really saved my life, I think. And I made a conscious decision to do an EMDR session regarding Lori and JJ and Tylee and Alex. And I just remember making all of these notes in my journal and thinking, what do I even process? Because you really have to fixate on one particular thing in order for EMDR to really be effective, or at least for me, that was my experience. And I said, what do I even process? Is it my family system? That's too broad. My relationship with Lori, that doesn't cover everything. The possibility that these kids are no longer alive. I couldn't think of one thing that was going to make it better, because it's so all encompassing. It's not just about the family system, but it's also about these horrific acts that at the time, we didn't know if the kids were alive or dead, but my gut feeling was that they were not alive. Okay. I felt at that point that there was no way, from, what people in the family had said, is that, Lori's hiding the kids, or, she's trying to avoid Kay and, all that. So none of that rang true to me at all. And I thought, there's no way that these two kids have been gone this long and that they're still alive. So for me, I had to make a conscious effort to go in and process the death of the kids before they'd been found, before we really knew that they were gone.
And
That
those
is so
JJ's,
crazy. Can you
the
even
JJ's
imagine?
grandparents were the ones. They're even on Charles' side. They're not part of the Cox. Are they Mormon too, though? Was Charles a
No.
Mormon?
He wasn't. Can you imagine saying, okay, these kids are
I'm
dead.
glad he left his sister that money, because I hated that Charles died, but he fucking got right up.
And doing that for me gave me the ability to be able to look at this whole situation in a different light, making the assumption that the kids were gone. And that actually really helped me, because I believed that the spirits of those children were being cared for after their death. That's sort of what my mind landed on when I was doing my EMDR therapy. And that gave me the ability to then start trying to understand everything that was happening and try to go back and analyze the family system and the patterns and all of the things that I felt like led to this. And it's one of the reasons, I have to say selfishly, why I'm doing this is because it helps me to try and make sense of an insensible situation, and to try and process through these memories and think, you know, there were red flags, there were warning signs, there, you know, were times where all these people who say Lori was this sweet, wonderful person, she was a doting mom, that was not the Lori that I knew. And actually, I have to say, that was Lori's veneer. That was her external personality. So people who didn't know her, of course, she would come off that way. She was very charming. She was beautiful.
She was the primary president in
Yes.
Hawaii, you know,
Yes.
meaning she's in charge of all the children and they're singing. Yes.
Yeah. She was a hairdresser. You know, she was a beauty queen. She was a cheerleader. It's like if you took every stereotype of, you know, the all-American, sweet, successful mom, Lori did all of those things. She was all of those things, unless you disagreed with her, or unless you stood in the way of her getting something that she wanted. And then she was vicious.
And you saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me how you saw that. I mean, you've told a couple stories that I'm thankful that you told. Any other examples of that you can share?
Well, the main one I have to say, and the only time I was really on the receiving end of Lori's displeasure was shortly after I moved in with her and Adam. We lived in Austin together in an apartment. And
was this between, by the way, she was married to Joe Ryan during that time, divorced, and then met Charles. At what point in her, clearly she's living with Adam, so she might be single, but where in this sort of order of marriages was she, or in life? Do you know?
So she had already married and divorced Nelson at this point.
Okay. And Nelson was her first husband.
Right.
So no Colby yet. No William.
No Colby
Nonia.
yet.
Okay. So
And
this is
so-
before she had children.
Yep. We were both single. I was 18. I think she was 19. And Adam was a primetime DJ in Austin, which gave him a little bit of like local celebrity status. And my family had already moved to San Antonio, but I was still living in Connecticut while our house sold. And I decided to come down and live with them rather than going back to living with my parents. And actually, Lori and Adam.
Yeah, I feel like this is just really, there's a lot left to this.
Yeah, they can watch it on their own.
There's a link to this in the description. I think it's just lasting a really long time, but she actually does tell a lot about that sister's death.
Yeah.
That's some stuff, folks.
And about how they just cremated Alex so fast. They burnt Tylee, right?
Mhm.
Oh, they made Brandon identify the kids. He's the one that identified them.
Yeah.
Who is this?
I'm gonna play Summer's testimony.
If it's too long, I don't know.
But I'm not going to play the phone call again because we did hear that.
The record on CR 22-21-1624, State of Idaho versus Lori Vallow. Mr. Thomas is conducting cross-examination of the witness, Mr. Balance. You can continue with your cross if you'd like at this time, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Balance, or Special Agent Balance, we were just about to talk a little bit about drive testing, Can you tell me what type of equipment is involved in that?
Yeah, so what we're using is what's called a GAR, which is a Gladiator Autonomous Receiver.
I believe you indicated on direct examination that you cannot
By the Daybell phone utilizing the AT&T everybody's particular situation.
Okay.
Mr. Rammel, then you can call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state would call Summer Shiflet.
It's perfect. She's younger than Lori, right?
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right, before we get started then, I'll note that the court has previously designated this particular witness as a representative under Idaho's victims laws, so the exclusionary rule would not apply as to this witness, whether or not she's watched any trial testimony. So I'll just advise you then, Ms. Shiflet, when you're being questioned, please use verbal responses so we get your answers on the record. Please avoid talking at the same time as anyone asking you a question. Wait for their question to be complete. That way we'll also keep the record clear, and with those ground rules in mind, then Mr. Rammel, you can go ahead and inquire on your direct examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Shiflet.
Good morning.
Can I please have you state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Summer Shiflet, Shiflet.
Ms. Shiflet, how do you know the defendant in this case,
She's my
Lori
sister.
Lori Vallow Daybell? You're fine.
She's my sister.
And is she your older sister?
Yes.
And this is obvious without asking, Ms. Shiflet, but can I have you clarify for the record how that makes you related to J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan?
Tylee and JJ were my niece and nephew.
And did you?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ms. Shiflet. If you don't mind, if you can kind of lean forward right to the microphone and talk into it, we'll make sure to pick up the recording. Okay. Thank you.
And did you play an active role in your niece and nephew's life?
Yes.
When were you first made aware that your niece and nephew were missing?
I think through the media, but probably December of 2019.
And at that time, December of 2019, were you in contact with your sister?
No.
Were you aware of where she was located at that time?
No.
Ms. Shiflet, have you had a close relationship with your sister?
Yes.
At some point, did you talk to your sister and ask her about JJ and Tylee's well-being?
Yes. I think our first contact was in February of 2019 after she had been arrested.
And what did she tell you about JJ and Tylee?
I don't remember the exact wording, but she basically told me that she was aware of where they were and that they were safe.
Ms. Shiflet, fair to say that you trusted what she told you?
Yes.
You believed your sister when she stated to you that JJ and Tylee were safe?
Yes.
I'm going to draw your attention to early June of 2020 when JJ and Tylee's bodies were found. You testified that you trusted your sister. after the discovery of JJ and Tylee. Did that change?
Yes.
Why?
I felt lied to, and my trust in my sister was broken.
Ms. Shiflet, a recording of a video visit between yourself and Ms. Vallow Daybell has previously been admitted in this case. Do you recall the date of that specific video call?
I believe it was on June 24th. I had received a request for me to call her.
And just for clarification of the record, do you recall the year?
2020.
Your Honor, can I be handed what has previously been admitted as State's Exhibit 34A?
Yes.
And Your Honor, having been previously admitted, I now ask to publish what has been previously admitted and marked as State's Exhibit 34A to the jury.
All right, give me just a moment to confer with the clerk, please.
I'm going to fast forward through this because we listened to that earlier.
I don't understand. I want to believe the best in you. I really. Yes! And you took care. I never had spiritual experiences.
I'm the youngest of
You were innocent.
Your Honor, that's all I have for this witness. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ramel.
Right legs? Exactly.
All right, Exhibit 34A has been returned to the court clerk. Is there cross-examination, Mr. Archibald?
I'm sorry you had to relive that.
Thank you.
So just some foundation to give some background here. You're Lori's younger sister, you said?
Yes.
And you're one of how many children?
I'm the youngest of 5.
And who's the oldest child?
Stacy, my oldest sister.
And is she alive or is she deceased?
She's deceased.
And did she have any children before she died?
Yes.
And who would that be?
My niece, Melanie.
Okay. Is that who we've heard the name Melanie Pedro or Melanie Pulowski? Is that Stacy's child?
Yes.
Okay. And then who's next after Stacy?
Alex.
And then Alex Cox is who we've heard that name during this trial as well. How much older is he than you?
I think 8 years.
Okay. And then who's next after Alex?
Adam.
And Adam Cox, where does he live now?
St. George, Utah.
Okay. And then, and he was a friend of Charles Vallow?
Yes.
Okay. And then who's next after Adam?
Well, my parents had a child that died. Her name was Lori. We called her Lolly. But she died. She died before I was born.
Okay. How old was she when she died?
6 weeks.
Okay. And then after her, who was next?
Lori.
And so Lori is how much older than you?
2 years.
And so you and Lori grew up together?
Yes.
And you grew up together where?
In Rialto, California.
And how old were you when you moved away from California?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
How old were you, or how long did you live in California?
I think until I was about 17 or 18.
Okay. So you and Lori would have been adults by the time that you moved away from California.
Yes.
So would you describe, how would you describe your relationship with Lori growing up?
I feel like we had a close relationship. We had a lot of similar interests and friends in common, and we did a lot of activities together.
Okay. Go to schools together?
Yes.
Go to church together?
Yes.
How would you describe your family life?
I think we had a good family. I mean, we had problems, but we also had a lot of fun.
And do you remember when Lori, her first marriage?
Yes.
Do you remember how old she was?
It was right out of high school. So I think 18.
So she was 18 and you were 16 when that happened?
Yeah.
And did that marriage last long?
No.
Do you remember her second marriage?
Yes.
And who was that to?
William LaJoya.
And is that the father of Colby, who we met here last week?
Yes.
Okay. And did that marriage last long?
Longer than the first, but not that long.
Okay. And then did Lori get married again?
Yes.
And who was her third husband?
Joseph Ryan.
And is Joseph Ryan the father of Tylee Ryan?
Yes.
And during this time of these relationships that Lori was having, did you stay close with Lori?
Off and on.
When did you get married?
In 2000.
And so did you have your own life that you were trying to live as well?
Yes.
And did you try to maintain good contact with Lori?
Yes, but we lived in 2 different states, so it was more challenging.
Okay. And you have children of your own?
Yes.
And how many children do you have?
3.
Okay. And do you recall when Lori separated from Joe Ryan?
Yes.
And did Lori protect Colby and Tylee from Joe Ryan?
Yes.
All right. And so when you talk on this,
ATC, nice to see you.
Email says,
Sorry, guys, I'm eating and it's hot.
makes you sweat, huh?
Yeah.
on this phone call with your sister Lori, that you would have never done anything to harm your children. Is that the way you felt?
Yes.
Okay. And that's because of seeing her raise Colby and Tylee and JJ.
Yes.
Did you also get to know Charles Vallow?
Yes.
And how did, if you can briefly tell us about the relationship between Charles and Lori?
I think they had a great relationship in the beginning, and they seemed very compatible, and they seemed very happy.
And they adopted JJ?
Yes.
And were you involved in your sister's life when that happened?
Yes.
Were you involved in your sister's life when Lori and Charles separated?
Yes.
Were you aware that Charles had filed for divorce?
I'm not sure if I knew that until it came out in the media, because I don't think she was ever served.
Okay. And then they, as far as you knew, they had reconciled.
Yes.
Okay. So were you a part of Lori's life when Charles and JJ moved to Texas?
Yes. Not as close, but yes.
Okay. Were you a part of Lori's life when the whole family had moved to Hawaii?
Yes.
Now, was Hawaii a destination that your family had gone to as well when you were a child?
I had been there one time as a child, and then I didn't go back again until I was a married adult.
Okay.
No, this is a
Is it kind of boring?
defense attorney.
Oh, did the other one already talk?
Yeah, the prosecution pretty much basically just wanted to play that video.
I wonder what they said after it.
I'm sorry, I did go back one time before I got married, so I had 2 trips before I got married.
Okay. And so, was that a place that your father and mother had taken you and the family?
Yes.
How did you see Tylee grow up?
Yes.
How would you describe Tylee?
I would describe her as beautiful and witty and very talented in a lot of different ways.
Did she have health issues in her life?
Yes.
Do you remember what those were?
She had pancreatitis several times.
And do you know what that is?
It's the swelling of your pancreas.
Was that something that required hospitalization?
Yes.
And were you able to see Tylee and Lori together?
Yes.
And can you describe that?
I think Lori was a loving mother and Tylee adored her mother. They fought sometimes. Tylee had a little sassy streak in her, but I always felt like Lori was very patient with her.
Were you ever concerned about the safety of Tylee around Lori?
No.
Would you ever imagine your sister wanting to kill her kids?
No.
Would you ever imagine your sister being involved in conspiring to kill her kids?
No.
Now, the way you were you raised in a way to believe in Jesus?
Yes.
And the Jesus that you were taught about, was that a Jesus who was kind and loving?
Yes.
And is that how you were taught?
Yes.
And is that how Lori was taught?
Yes.
And is that how Lori taught her children?
Yes.
So, did you ever hear your sister talk about multiple lives?
She and Alex had both mentioned that to me, I think in late 2018.
Okay.
It's the first time.
Was that something new?
Yes.
Was that something that you had been taught as children?
No.
Did you ask Lori where this new belief was coming from?
I don't know if I asked her that directly.
Did she talk about multiple creations?
Yes.
Being reincarnated as different people over the eons of time. Is that what she was telling you?
Not with the word reincarnated, but yes.
Okay. So they weren't using the word reincarnated, but multiple probations, multiple creations.
Correct.
And is that something new that you had heard?
It was new to me.
Had you ever heard Lori talk about being someone in another life prior to late 2018?
No.
At this time in late 2018 or early 2019, did she tell you that she had been someone else in another life?
Prior to 2018?
Prior to 2018?
No.
In late 2018 or 2019, did she tell you that?
Yes.
Did she tell you about her previous lives?
Yes.
Did any of that make sense to you?
Not really.
Did you believe it?
I tried to. I wanted to believe her, but it didn't make sense.
Did she tell you in late 2018, 2019 about zombies?
And Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to object to hearsay. Ms. Vallow is not a party opponent. As to the defense, the exception does not apply.
Let me think about that for just a minute. Mr. Rammel, can you further explain why you think the exception would not apply here and why this would be hearsay?
Judge, I think the exception, he's asking specifically for statements of his client. She is a party opponent of the state. The party opponent from the state's perspective wouldn't apply to Ms. Vallow, who is the client of Mr. Archibald.
All right, what's your response to that, Mr. Archibald?
Your Honor, this is just some foundation. I think the jury's already heard bits and pieces of this. This is just to confirm that information.
It's been admitted in this state's case in chief, and I do find that it's relevant and would not be hearsay. So I'll overrule the objection and allow the witness to answer that last question, which was, and I'll just cite, did she tell you in late 2018, 2019 about zombies was the question. So you can answer.
I don't recall her ever telling me about zombies, that word. I don't remember her ever using that terminology.
Okay. Did she talk to you about her ability to cast out evil
Well,
spirits?
everybody else heard.
I believe so.
Did she tell you about light and dark scales?
Yes.
And is that something that you had heard before that time period?
Never.
Did she tell you that she was a goddess?
I don't recall if she used that terminology.
Did she tell you that she was a leader of the 144,000?
No.
Did she tell you that there was a new church called the Church of the Firstborn?
I don't recall her ever telling me that specifically.
Were you concerned about your sister with her new beliefs?
I don't know that I was concerned about safety of anybody. I just was concerned. I mean, of course I care about my sister, but I didn't really know what to think about it. So
Okay.
I don't know if concerned is the right word.
Okay, fair enough.
And
How was your relationship with Alex?
I was close with Alex.
Now, can you tell the jury what he was like?
Well, he was my big brother, and sometimes he was hilarious and fun, and sometimes he was kind of crude or obnoxious in a way. But most of the time we got along really well, and he was at my house most weekends playing games with my kids.
And did he have children of his own?
No.
Did he suffer a brain injury as a teenager?
Yes.
And what was that, from a car accident?
Yes.
And did that brain injury in that car accident, did that affect him?
I believe it did.
Was he different after that car accident than he was before?
He seemed almost stuck in making like teenage decisions. He got in his car accident at 16, and he kind of made decisions like a 16-year-old most of his life.
So he was, that's what you observed, is that he was stuck as a teenager.
In his decision making, yes.
Do you stay in touch with Colby Ryan?
Yes.
And Colby had previously stated, my mom spent her whole life protecting us kids. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Colby also stated after she met Chad Daybell, she changed. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Thank you for your testimony.
Well, this is a whole thing. You know, just a little bit like Michelle, you know, the fact is, I don't care what you did for your kids. Once you kill one of them, all that goes out the fucking window.
Hush.
It does. Hush. Shut up, Louise. You know, it just doesn't matter anymore. Sorry. I don't care what you did for them. Now you killed them, and so.
Business. You have to do business.
Sorry.
Business.
But, guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. It's been a long night. Thanks for hanging out with me all night with my cooking and everything. Yeah, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. 100%. Yeah, you guys all have a great night. Thank you so much for everything. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Oh, I hope so, Kimmy. Thank you. Okay, good night. I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Hopefully you'll hang out with me again.